So if you want to know how I do ribs on a pellet grill, I'll show you right now. Hey everybody, welcome back to Everyday Barbecue. My name is Mike, and today I'm going to be doing some ribs on my pellet grill. This is a Camp Chef Woodwind WiFi 24-inch. And hey, real quick, if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, I'd really appreciate it if you'd go ahead and do that. Click the button, click the bell to get notifications when I release new content. I'm going old school on this video today. When I first started my channel, I did everything with the iPhone. And today's sort of an impromptu video. And I just wanted to bring you along for the journey, but I will teach you a few things, or at least share a few things with you. Maybe I'm not teaching you, but maybe I'll be sharing some things with you that you can find useful as far as how I do ribs on the pellet grill. And we're also going to be testing this Wi-Fi technology today because I've got to be away from home for a couple hours midday, and I'm only going to be monitoring this through the app and the Wi-Fi, and I will have somebody home in case there's a problem, so don't sweat that. Gloves are on because my ribs are already prepped and I'm going to put them on, but really it's very simple to prep ribs, okay? If you're going to do baby backs, you can be as complicated as you want, but for most backyard barbecues, just unpackage them, pat them dry with a paper towel. If you see any large clumps of fat on there that you want to remove, go ahead. The ones I had today were real clean. I didn't have to do any trimming. Once I patted them down with a paper towel, I just used my go-to fast rib rub, or for a fast cook with ribs. My rib rub that I go to is the Famous Dave's rib rub. So it's cheap, it's easy to find, and you can be real generous with it because it's not overly salty. Really, really good flavors, by the way, so you might want to check that out. Now, on the membrane, if you want to know how to remove the membrane from ribs, I'm going to put a link up here in the iCard for you with a short video that I did on how to remove the membrane from ribs. However, today I just scored the membrane because, number one, I didn't want to mess with it, and number two, if you score it, it really doesn't make that much of a difference. In fact, that texture of that membrane underneath will actually kind of be pleasurable. It's sort of like a beef jerky. It tastes good. And the reason I scored is because as the membrane cooks and shrinks, it can buckle your ribs. So by scoring it, it keeps the ribs from buckling. So they're going to cook nicely and they're going to look nice and present nice in the end. Now, why am I doing this cook today? Because tomorrow is my son's orthodontist appointment. He's got braces. He's almost done, thank God. I think he's got like 4 months left. And when he gets his braces tightened or adjusted, there's like a 1 or 2 day period where he can barely eat anything because he's in so much pain. So I asked him, I said, son, what would you like to eat the day before you go get your braces tightened?
Ribs.
And so it was that easy. Now, once we put these ribs on here in a second, we're going to let them be. This is a 4 to 6 hour cook, depending on how big the ribs are, how tender you like them, and the variable in that every slab of ribs is a little different. Some of them take longer to tenderize than others. Ribs are also one of those foods that people have different opinions on for tenderness. Some people want to wrap them in foil and have them just fall off the bone. Others maybe want a little bit of texture on the outside. We like ours to be nice and tender, but not so tender that when you pick them up, they fall apart. We just like to bite the meat off the bone. And if you go no wrap, you're going to have a nicer texture on the outside, and you're going to have a little bit more smoke flavor. Now, if you want to wrap your ribs, go ahead. I haven't done it since I tried without wrapping because we just like them that much better. So it's going to be a good test for this Wi-Fi today. It's a nice day to cook. It's been so cold here where I live that this grill's been sitting for almost 3 months without any activity. So with things starting to melt around here, spring coming, and this nice sunshine, I'm going to enjoy this today. And I hope you're going to enjoy hanging with me. Now let's get these ribs on. Enough talk. Alright, it's been just under 4 hours that these ribs have been on. I just got back from taking my brother to the orthopedic doctor, so the grill ran fine the whole way. I checked in on the app probably 3 or 4 times, maybe once an hour while we were gone, and everything went great, so I had no issues here. Now I'm back. I just checked these ribs. They look really good. It's going to be a couple more hours probably before these are done the way we like them, and I'll bring you back at that time. But just letting you know, everything went great. And man, is it beautiful out here. I'm in a t-shirt now. It's only like 38 degrees, but the weather that we've had here in the last, month and a half feels like it's 80 right now. Anyway, I'll see you in a little bit. Okay, so it's been just shy of 6 hours, and I just checked these ribs. I did a little bend test, and I took the temperature. They're sitting just under 200 degrees. It's funny because some baby backs, to get the tenderness that we like, you know, it'll be 207, 210, sometimes even over that. These are pretty tender already at like 195, 196, so I'm going to give them about another 10, 12 minutes here, and then I'm going to pull these and I'm just going to rest them on my counter, tented in foil for maybe 10, 12 minutes, just to get them to cool enough to where I can handle them and cut them. Another way that you can tell that the ribs are starting to break down is you can see the pullback from the bones and the meat. So you can kind of see the rib bones exposed, and that'll happen more and more as they tenderize. That's about it. So that's really all that I'm looking for. Now again, just to recap, because I want you guys to get something out of this video, all I really did was unpackage these ribs. I patted them dry. I seasoned them up with, well, no, first I did the membrane scoring. Instead of removing the membrane, I just scored the membrane, and I seasoned them up with my go-to seasoning, the famous Dave's Rib Rub. So put them on this Camp Chef at high smoke for just about 6 hours. That's a 220 degree temperature. High smoke setting is 220 degrees Fahrenheit. And I'm just going to rest them under foil for just a few minutes. So I'll see you guys inside, and I'm going to try to get my son and my daughter to be in the taste test with me, all right? So just give me a few minutes. Well, for you, it's going to be like the snap of a finger. I'll see you there. So these rested for a little bit, and I cut these up. I got my youngest daughter and my only son here. This is the guy who's got to go to the orthodontist tomorrow. He's not looking forward to it. So I prepped him a good meal. Anyway, listen, I wanted to show you the beautiful smoke ring. And you know what? I'll grab any one of these. But we've got a beautiful smoke ring in here. And then you can kind of see when you go with no wrap, you sort of get a little bit of a nice skin on the outside layer. So when you bite through here, it's sort of like you're biting through, and there's a little bit of a snap, but then it's super juicy on the inside. I mean, you can see this. These are just going to be fantastic. And these are done pretty much exactly how we like them. So I'm going to give one to each of my kids here. I'm sorry about the messy kitchen. I'm sorry if there's poor lighting. This was just an impromptu video today. Did the whole thing from the phone. And just thought I'd bring you along for the journey. But anyway, cheers, kids. Love you both.
Love it.
Here we go. Clean off the bone.
Delicious.
Good?
Oh yeah.
What do you think? Thumbs up? And if you see here, this bottom layer, this is that membrane. It gives you sort of a nice little chewy part at the bottom. It's actually really good. It's kind of like a really thin beef jerky. Some people prefer to leave it on. Sometimes I like to do it. Alright, so look, I got to get the family fed. I hope you had fun hanging out with me today, and as always, I'll have all the notes down in the description for everything that I did. It's real easy for me to forget to say things during a video, so I always try to remember to put them down in the description. So if you feel like there's something I missed or you have questions, be sure to read down there. Leave a comment, give me a like. Please subscribe if you haven't. Take care till next time. We will see you on the next episode.